Sake is the first approved son of Deutzen 420 Sport. He came out of the test as a quiet, reliable horse with suppleness, with especially talent for work under saddle. Full report showed that he passes on that suppleness to his offspring. There they go. Mintje de Boer with Kees Bauma, Gert de Jong, Sietse Bauma en Christian Dijkstra. We saw them last year at the Sport Palace with the Spanish Riding School. Sake was bred by Lotte and Griet Bruinsma out of their star preferant Riepke daughter Teuntje van Snakkerstaten, that later on moved to the United States to John and Charlotte Dumford of Rose Hill Friesians in Rockwall, Texas. Sake made a great start in dressage, originally with Daniel Schepper, that rendered him the Dutch Police Championship Z1. Marcia Dijkman rides the willing to work and nicely pliable Deutzen son. And at the last dressage championship in Kootwijk, they placed reserve in Z1. Sake's offspring stand out. Up to now, there are 186 registered offspring. Daughter Gijsje Teuntje at the breeding day in Heldepanninge became youth and overall reserve champion. Of the 5 sons that he showed in Ermelo, 2 became star and 2 made the second inspection. The most recent sport data of Sake is that he is already qualified for the finals of the KFPS Variso competition and for the finals of the KNHS Friesian Championship. Sake is at this time first for the Winter Championships of South Netherlands. 2 shows are still to be ridden. Now it's time for Sake.
Ede, dames en heren. Prachtige livebeelden van het geweldige hengst in ons KFPS. Sanke 449. Sporthengst van Deutschen Malinke.
Sake 449. Sport Stallion out of Deutschen. Ridden by Marcia Dijkman. Compliments to the Tonen family of Marenkessel. And here he is one more time, Sake. Beautiful stallion. What quality in movement. That was pure enjoyment. Now a different moment before we start the next show. There's a really interesting book that has been written about building a chaise. It's in Dutch, but also in English. Frits and Setske de Jong are entering the ring now with such a beautiful chaise. This is the Woudstra chaise from Mr. Woudstra and Sint Nicolaasga. There's a whole history behind the chaise, and you can now read up on that in this book. It is available at the KFPS booth. The first edition will be handed to our chairman, Kees Rosemond. The people who are behind this book, we asked them to enter the ring. Book written by builder Tjibbe Posma of Oppenhuizen. And Mr. Lantinga is here. He's the chairman of het Friske Horse. He will briefly talk about the book with everything about the Frisian chaise. The editors are here. Tjibbe Posma, Roeline Kuiper, Paul Logister, and the Woudstra de Jong family. Here is the chairman behind me, Kees Rosemond. Behind announcer bed, Mr. Lantinga. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the chaise. It is a very special chaise. It was made by Mr. Posma, who's standing next to me. Not for his profession, but just for fun. He put in all the time to make the chaise himself. In 2005, he received a prize for it from the Queen's Commissioner. He made a journal of how he put these chaises together in great detail. And it was decided that we could not lose this information, that we had to make a book of it. To preserve this old profession, such a big part of Frisian culture and folklore, to keep it alive and pass it on. And it is a unique book. Great for the Frisian lover, everybody who enjoys Frisian culture. After reading this book, you will have even more admiration for these beautiful carriages. And based on this book, there will now be people all around the world who will start building a chaise. And then something completely different. The contents of this book will be part of creating attention to vocabulary education. vocational training, that's what it is. The book is available for a great price of €29.95, now available at the KFPS stands, and available also on the new website of organization Het Friske Horse. We want to thank the board of Het Friske Horse. The editors have been a big part of writing this book. They edited it to an easy-to-read book. And it's been translated in the right jargon. Media Group put the book together, did a beautiful job, and printed it. We want to thank everybody who cooperated on this book, which can inspire people, get them to study a vocation, and for people to make the chaises themselves. Please look at our website, visit the KFPS booth. This chaise, made by Mr. Posma, is an original. It is now my honor to hand over the first edition by Mr. Posma to the chairman of KFPS, Mr. Kees Rosemond. This was inaudible for me. Thank you. What a joy and an honor to receive this book. We are always talking about preserving the history. And after what we've already achieved in Holland, now we're achieving so many things abroad. And here we talk about, in this book, the Frisian horse and the chaise. The Frisian horse is so connected to the cultural history of Friesland. Let's preserve our culture. Over 200 chaises have been officially registered. The old-fashioned historical chaises, we don't know where all of them are. If you know where any of the unregistered chaises are that disappeared, please let the KFPS know. If it ever happens that KFPS becomes the European cultural capital of Europe, hopefully in 2018, then we will have to present this book with Frisian horses to the European Committee. With about 50, 60, 70 horses and a chaise. Somebody suggested, I said yes, and Mr. Posma will have to build a whole bunch more real quick with the aid of this book. We have so much respect for what you did. Thank you for writing this book for everybody. A beautiful speech by Kees Rosemond. Flowers for the De Jongs. Peter Paul in harness. And Wisse in harness pulling the chaise. Flowers for the writer of this book, Chibbe Posma. And there is his homemade chaise. He journaled everything Now it's a book to preserve Frisian history, to allow you to build your own chaise. And this chaise is called the Woudstra chaise. The stud book of all the registered old chaises is also available. I saw it at one of the booths, and it's at the KFPS booth. So €29.95. The first edition handed over to the KFPS chairman here. Now available at the KFPS booth.